How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing well. I know we were just talking about your office, and I love it.
Yes, it's filled with a bunch of vintage monster toys and books and artifacts and just collect things that I collect. It's like if all my autistic special interests could be in like one place, that's my office.
It's
So
awesome.
instead of collecting trains, I collect antiques and like monster stuff.
And your whole house is like this, huh?
Yeah, yeah, my whole house is like this. I love history, I love historic buildings, I love antiques, I love film, I love toy. It's just kind of all the things that I liked since I was a kid. I didn't grow out of it as an adult, and I'm still 100% still the same person I was when I was little. It's just I actually have some disposable income to buy the things now is the difference.
Yeah, that's always fun. And there's nothing wrong with that at all.
I know it's weird going to an antique store as a kid and being like, I want this thing. And your parents are like, really?
Yeah. Okay. So now you have a new collection that's going to be dropped. Is it on the 25th that it dropped
Yeah.
in July?
The collection just dropped about a week ago that we
Okay.
did for the 90th anniversary of Bride of Frankenstein with Universal. And I snuck in some like cool Frankenstein products as well because I feel like those you can't have one without the other. So of course I had to make some companion pieces.
I'm going to go back in time and I want to know when did all this start? Because this is not your first line that you've dropped. I I believe the first one that I remember was for me personally was I think it was the Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Well, that was with my sister company, La Femme Noir. We did
Okay.
a Bram Stoker's Dracula, Francis Ford Coppola's film, with Sony. And then my first collection with Universal Monsters, like officially, was Creature from the Black Lagoon for their anniversary last year. But I've been making like Halloween and horror and like kind of monster adjacent stuff since I started the brand almost 10 years ago. So I would do like my own iterations of like classic monsters or monsters in general. A long time ago, I did a collection with Ben Cooper with the family when the father was still with us. And that was a
Mhm.
really cool experience. They were really lovely people when they still owned their IP.
That's awesome. And so I know we discussed earlier that a lot of this stuff you've been collecting and all things horror, antiques have been since you were a child, and now you have disposable income. So you, like many of us, you go out and you see it and you get it. And I'm sure that's been a lot of inspiration for you to create all of these different lines. Can you explain to us, like getting a product such as Universal Monsters, such as this one, Bride of Frankenstein, like what's the process from start to end as far as obtaining like that IP?
Well, I would say when I started doing licensing, I think my first one ever was Ben Cooper's Family, and that
Hmm.
was in the infancy of my brand at the time. And trying to get in licensing with studios is very difficult because
Hmm.
there's really not like a direct line of communication of like how you can even start and have those conversations. A lot of times it's the studios coming to you and
Yeah.
like sliding into your inbox and saying, "Hey, we love what you guys are doing. We'd love to collaborate. We'd love to talk to you." And that's how it progressed. And it just started with an initial introduction with different studios and conversations. But I had always wanted to have Universal and Universal Monsters from like the
Hmm.
get-go. Like if I'm ever going to do licensing, like that was kind of like my white whale, like my Moby Dick, but it never happened. And it went on for years until finally it took me meeting with like the head of Universal Monsters as a director and writer for the conversations to happen with licensing. So really the head of Universal Monsters that kind of runs all of Monsters and oversees all the facets of it was the person that kind of brought me in, and her name is Holly, and she's amazing. And that's how this even started. And it was kind of funny, like people were like, why didn't we work together sooner? And it's
Yeah.
just hard when you're not like a big corporation because
Yeah.
historically speaking, a lot of these bigger IPs go to like big box like Target and Hot Topic, or Levi's did a really cool collection. I literally bought everything that they did years ago with Universal Monsters. And there's really not been anything that I felt that reflected the characters or the quality or the history of the films, as much as what I've been able to do. So that was something that was really important when I proposed everything. Like getting to do the anniversary collections meant going into the archives and doing things that no one's done and like kind of really pushing for that. And I had a lot of support internally from the Universal Monsters team and their marketing team, and to really kind of push through to get stuff that nobody's done before.
Yeah, because I mean, this is all very unique and it looks amazing. Like
Yeah.
what you've done. It's like I'm just like, and I show people, I'm like, have you checked this out? You know, and I didn't realize I was introduced to you with Bram Stoker, and I'm telling people I know, a friend in particular, and she knew exactly who you were. She's
Oh,
like, "Oh my God, you're gonna talk to her?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah,
so cool.
yeah,
I don't ever think of anybody ever getting excited about clothes in the same way. Like I get excited about, like us as fans will get excited
yeah."
about like directors or artists or writers or different creators. I never think of myself. I just like I make dresses and accessories and different things. I don't think it's that exciting for anybody. I kind of just want to fill a gap as a fan to make stuff that isn't really on the market. So it's always fun if anybody gets excited about anything I do. I think it's really a compliment because I'm just doing it because I enjoy it, honestly.
Oh, and that's what I'm sure that's what makes it so wonderful is because you enjoy it. I mean, the minute you stop enjoying things, it just you just lose it. It gets lost.
Yeah, or you just are burnt out and need a vacation. I
Yeah,
find that
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 too.
happens sometimes too. Like I just need some days off.
Um, so how did you balance staying true to I believe it was 1935, like that era, that design, while bringing a fresh kind of new aesthetic to it?
Well, I think whenever you go back historically into something that's that old, I mean, we're talking almost 100 years, it's the 90th anniversary, but you have to be able to reinvent it at the
Yeah,
same time, because then it feels like a costume. And sometimes it's cool to do replicas of things, which we have done in the past. Like I replicated her white swimsuit from Creature from the Black Lagoon because that felt like you could still wear that now and it makes sense and it
yeah,
served a
yeah,
purpose. But sometimes it's fun to make something that's more costumey because you want to honor the design. But with this, I felt like the costumes already exist, those are already on the market. Like, how can we embody her silhouette and her style and her aesthetic and make it wearable at any point in time beyond Halloween, beyond a costume? And how can it fit into everyday life? So
yeah,
I really kind of took um, elements like the shoulder shape, the bandage like style and aesthetic of the arms, and then also like underneath her cloak, like that gown that she's wearing, she's
yeah,
fully bandaged. So I kind of thought like, well, what if the dress looked like a bandage too? And I love the stitches idea. So, I did this kind of corset lacing in the back to kind of my nod of stitches. And then I did this sterling silver choker that has stitches on it so that it could feel like it's elevating like her design and aesthetic and all the elements that kind of make her her, but making it like fashion, essentially, like wearable fashion and higher quality than something you would just get at like a costume shop.
yeah. This is beyond Spirit Halloween for sure.
Which, but costume stuff's super important. Like, I
Yeah,
think, oh, that's really cool. But there's a certain point where like our interests and the things that we love can get ingrained into our everyday life and our style. Like just the same as guys that like to wear t-shirt or like me, like I'm wearing a sweatshirt with creature stuff on it. It's nice to have something casual like this. But then also as women and as fans, like we dress up, but there's not been a lot that kind of fills that gap of like us dressing up as women or anybody that wants to wear a dress and showcase their fandom in that way that doesn't feel as on the nose or like you said, like a costume or the few things that have been on the market have definitely been catered to like a younger market where it's
yeah.
more fast fashion, it's cheaper, it's it's for like the teen market. And I really wanted to make this for women or people that are more adults and also maybe have bigger life events that this would fit
Hmm.
into. So we invested a lot of time and money in quality and materials and construction. I think this is one of the more expensive dresses I've ever made. It's probably also the most complex and structured garment I've ever made for my brand since its inception. Like this dress can literally stand up on its own because it's fully boned.
Yeah.
In the bodice. So it's very cool to make something like this for an IP like Bride of Frankenstein.
And as far as sizing, do you go up in size?
Yeah, we do extra small through 4X in
Okay.
everything. And we've started a slow expansion into 5X. And it's going to take us time to like get everything there. But we're really excited because we've actually invested a lot of time and energy in completely reassessing our grading, our pattern, and our fit to try to ensure that like those extended sizes are going to fit even better than they did before. Because I think inclusiveness is really important, especially in this day and age when I feel like so much of society is going back to where we grew up in like the 90s and the 2000s,
Mhm.
where it was pushing like a certain type of beauty standard that is not real and realistic and shouldn't be this. There shouldn't be a standard for anything. I think beauty is all in the eye of the beholder and it's all personal. And I think that it is something that should be more diverse. And I feel like we worked really hard to get there. So I think it's important as a designer to continue to maintain that diversity, both with representation and also with size inclusivity and quality. Because it's not fun when you want to go shop somewhere and they literally don't cater to you and
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
have anything for you. And I know like I'm sure the same thing happens with men like that are tall, that are bigger
Hmm.
guys, like they can't go somewhere that they have an inseam that works or the shirts are too short or the shoulders aren't broad enough. And women deal with the same thing. I think anybody can deal with those issues when it comes to trying to find clothes.
No, I definitely agree, and that's nice to hear that you are
Yeah,
catering
I
to
mean,
that.
our main model, Dre, is a curve model. She's wearing a
Mm.
2X. I think she looks incredible. She's beautiful and an amazing person in and out, and a huge horror and monster fan. And I think that she looks better in that dress than I do. And I love seeing her in my stuff. Like she's an amazing model, and I've worked with her on several different collections. And I think that women are beautiful, you know, creatures and we're just like not showcased enough on how beautiful we all are and how different we all are and how lovely all that is. And I feel like that it's super important because I think it could change the future for other people and like how they feel about themselves. So I think it's important to continue to show that as much as we can. Like everything you're seeing on this set, like most of those props are either my personal things that I own or everything I sourced, everything we set dress, we built the walls, we made custom vinyl flooring that was hand carved to look like stone and then painted it. And every single thing with all of our shoots, even with the creature, we built all those sets. That's my personal one-to-one scale creature from the Black Lagoon that I brought from
Wow.
my
Okay.
home. And every detail and everything that we do as far as the storytelling with our photo shoots, we want it to feel cinematic. So when we do these collaborations with the studios, especially something as iconic as Universal Monsters, our photos have to feel as cinematic as the worlds that these characters exist in. Because I want it to be a reflection of the story that we're telling. So yes, the clothes are telling you a story and the products are telling you a story, but I want the photos to also be a part of that story. Even though we're a small company and it's like me and one other person putting
Mm.
all the set stuff together and doing everything, and it's a really, really, really small team. Our commitment to quality does not reflect the scale of our business. So even though we're very small comparatively to a lot of other brands that are in the
Yeah.
space that we're in, our commitment to the storytelling and the quality is not a reflection of our size. It's really about our passion and our love for being fans and also reflection of the products that we make. And the other thing as well is like when I design and do all these clothes, like I'm the one designing and doing everything. So things will just start with like a really rough sketch and idea. So like I'll just have something in my head that starts like a really shitty drawing like this because I just gotta get it out. It's almost like
Yeah.
you're writing and you got to just write down something. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. You just got to get it on paper so you don't lose it. So then I'll do something like this and then I'll go and I'll draw a little bit more and like figure out like what is it going to look like, and it takes shape, and then I do these, in some instances we'll do these really detailed like painted traditional fashion illustrations that I spend a ton of time doing so that I can understand like what the clothes are going to look like and everything fully. So I really do care a lot about how these pieces become fashion. And then when it comes to like the 3D sculpted bags, I'm designing and drawing these from like inception, and then figuring out like the technical aspects of how to even manufacture this, and then putting it into a 3D sculpting program and fine tuning it and the design and the character with the studio. That's me doing that with them. So I don't think a lot of fashion designers and brands can say like, when you're creative directing, like, and designing and sculpting and drawing and building and making things and painting things, like every single thing from these collections I touch, and I have
Yeah, yeah.
a hand in of building these worlds and telling these stories. And when I got this license, I knew I wanted to make that Frankenstein monster bag from day one, but I know that I needed to wait for the right moment, and I thought the perfect opportunity was to do, this anniversary for the bride, because I feel like doing her head, because she's so human-like. When you think
Yeah.
about the creature, that's a monster. You look at Frankenstein's monster, it's more monstrous. I think if
Mhm.
I did a bride head, and not to say I couldn't, but I'm a little bit more nervous about that one because it's so human-like
Yeah.
for it to read, and her hair and stuff. So I'm interested to see what I'm gonna do in the future with that character and other monsters. Like I think that there's potential to do a 3D Wolfman bag like what I've done, which I think would be really cool
That'd be cool.
for the future. But I think no one's done this creature bag, and like you mentioned the Bram Stoker's Dracula, the helmet bag, or the Frankenstein's monster bag. We're the first people to ever make anything like that. And this thing is like completely airbrushed and professionally painted, and the
Wow.
eyes are hand painted. And no one's ever done anything to this level of quality or detail, where like men have bought this and like just stuck it on the shelf for their collection.
Yeah, for
They're like,
sure.
oh, it's a cool
Yeah.
piece, just add to my collection. And I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, if you also want to carry a bag, like do it. And it's made me think about like, I need to design some cool monster bags that are like a little bit more genderless, so that can work like when you go to like Epic Universe and different things.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna try to figure out a way of merging like what I do with stuff that can go beyond gender and like be anything anybody can wear. Because I think that like guys like cool stuff too. And I want
Yeah.
to explore that. Even though my site's pink and called Vixen, I'm hoping some, now that I'm doing more monster stuff, men are like, oh, this is cool. Like all the sweatshirts are unisex, and we did some button-ups that are unisex, but I definitely would love to cater also to like different fans than just women. And I think it's cool if everybody can wear something.
Oh yeah. You'll get there for certain. And are you, I know you've, like you said, you touch everything, and that's what makes this whole experience unique. It's not a large company that there's not a big assembly line that the stuff's like rolling through. Do you guys get backlogged?
It takes a long time. So like the bags from design idea to finished product is a 6-month process. So between designing it, then
Yeah.
sculpting it, molding it, 3D printing it, prototyping it, mother mold, sun molds, production, painting, shipping, all of that 6 months. So once we figure out what the bag is and we have to restock, it's like
Mm.
3 months to 4 months for that production for restock. So sometimes it can take even longer than 6 months. So the bag process is very, very, very complex. And because we choose to make things ethically, and even though we work with a facility overseas, like everything has to meet like labor standards and be like gold wrap certified. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of certifications that things have to pass for us to work with different facilities. So all that stuff takes time. And like you can do something fast and cheap or slow and good. So I rather do things slower and better.
Yeah.
with the same thing with the clothing, like that's going to take a few months for it to come in. So we're going to expect the dresses and stuff to be shipping out in October. So if people do want to wear them for Halloween, they can. But the bag, I think, is coming in December because it just honestly takes that long.
Takes time, yeah.
Yeah, it's a long process.
Like you said, it doesn't pay. My wife tells you all the time, it doesn't pay to be cheap.
Well,
So
you think about like when you pre-order a toy from like Mondo or NECA,
yeah.
think about how long you wait to get those
Hmm.
things. So it's funny because we're making complex things like these bags that are reflective of like the timelines that you guys are waiting for toys, and action figures and collectibles, but people aren't used to that timeline and that wait when it comes to fashion. So that's the difference is like, oh, you must not collect toys because if you pre-order from some of these toy companies, you're waiting a year until
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get your figure and sometimes longer. I mean, there's
yeah.
been issues and things that happen with production.
Mhm.
So I think it's funny when people get impatient and I'm like, man, you don't know the pre-order life.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a good product, I mean, that's just the reality of it,
Yeah,
you
you have
know?
to wait for the quality and, have it meet the standards of everything.
Yeah.
And my bags stand up on their own without any assistance.
See? Not many do, so that's
I can say that about my bags. I'm making a toy joke, so if anybody out there is listening, you'll know the pain of getting your figures to stand up.
yeah. Oh, it is a pain. Yeah, I try and keep mine in the box.
I
So,
I only do that if it's something that I plan on selling or if it's like vintage.
yeah,
Otherwise, I open everything. I'm the worst. Like my Megan like Mondo figure sitting on my desk. She's open. I'm
it's
like, I don't care. I want her on my desk.
yeah, sometimes I'll have to buy two of something, one that I can open and one it's horrible, but I can't do it yet.
I don't think I would have enough space to do that. I also don't buy as much, but like if something really special, like the Megan Mondo figure came out and that was
Yeah,
expensive, but that was so nice. It was like a Barbie doll and like an action figure mixed together. And I'm like, I have to have this.
that's
And it's
awesome.
out, which is,
Yeah. And some of these you just have to get, and that's a good reason. I mean,
yeah,
get something like that. That's how I would justify it.
totally. And you can always sell the one that you didn't open if you really need to.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Um, I'll go, let's see. I wanted to know real quick. I know from Creature from the Black Lagoon and that success, what have you learned between that project and then this Now the Bride of Frankenstein?
I will say, I think I learned having a pink site called Vixen makes it hard for men to go on my website and buy things. So it's been harder to make like stuff for guys or like more gender neutral things. So I would love for people to like get past our name and our site aesthetic and maybe like dip their toe into trying some more things. I've learned that people really loved the storytelling of like the characters. I was really surprised at how well the bandana replica top did in the swimsuit. Like I would have not have thought that those had been the clear winners. I would have thought the printed fabric designs would have been so much more popular, but I
Yeah,
was really surprised that like a lot of the costume replica pieces and then the stuff with like artwork on them did like when I did the knit top with my own kind of 60s Aurora Monster kit kind of style creature art, like that did really well. And I was really surprised. I was like, why do you guys want this over like a French poster, reprint for the first time? So it made me spend more time doing art for some of the stuff for Bride. So like I did two tops with artwork on the for this collection. And then I also realized that like everyone wanted that swimsuit in black, and I wish I had made it in black. So with this, I did all the pieces that I did for Bride in black. So that I learned that is like, oh, okay, people will wear white, but they also want it in black.
yeah, yeah. The best of both worlds. Well, thank you so much, and I really enjoyed speaking with you. And we'll talk again real soon. There's
Absolutely.
lots more to talk about the future, and then actually more about this. So we'll do some follow-ups.
Absolutely.